Hello everybody and welcome to Gaming with Vindicator, where we're building the city of Mikelsfjord, and we are wrapping up today the Island of Hommelvik build. We've been working on this for the last few episodes, and it's time to finalize the last little piece of this, which is the end of the beach strip here. This is going to become a lower value budget option for tourists. So it's going to be the motels, and we're going to be taking advantage of some of the content creator pack assets from the mid-century modern. And of course, I've been talking about turning this wonderful, beautiful landscape into a national park, and so we're going to do that as well, turn it into a nature preserve. There's going to be a lot of trails running through here from one end to the other, and it's going to be a great opportunity for people to come and visit and stay in these hotels. So you're going to get your nature tours, your party tours, your luxury tours on the end of the island here with the hotels. And yeah, we're going to wrap this Hommelvik up today, and then we're going to be moving on to our downtown. I have some special plans for that coming to take advantage of some of the new assets we got from the skyscrapers pack and so on. So let's get started. The first thing I want to do is I want to move back to our last build into this Doomsday cultist area here, and I want to just make a few little fixes. And the first thing I noticed was that my radio tower power is just not connected, so a little oops there, and we're going to move that around. Power issue sorted. And while I'm over here, I want to check, how's this helicopter line doing? Let's check on our lines here. I'm assuming that there's not going to be much action, but I stand corrected. I guess 15 passengers is not nothing. So, you know, I guess since this is probably the fastest way to get to this island, people are using it. So that's awesome to see. That's my first helicopter line, and that's pretty cool. Now, the next thing I wanted to do, I've been thinking about this. I talked about this last episode, and we're going to look at the light in this area. We're going to go to a middle of the night here. And, you know, this is supposed to be a dark sky preserve. This is supposed to be an area where these star worshippers, they can actually look at the stars with their observatory. And unfortunately, we're creating a lot of light with these roads. I've played with this, and of course, the only roads that we have that do not have lights on them, you know, given that we don't have any mods here, is the dirt road. So I'm gonna just I'm gonna convert this over to dirt roads, and we'll see if it looks better, a little more dark, which is what we're going for originally. So it does look like we've taken out all of the lights on the roads. Unfortunately, there's some amazingly bright lights on these wind towers as well as on the survival bunkers. So not much we can do about that, but we have significantly reduced the light in this area, which is perfect because we are stargazing here. So let's turn it back today. Good old noon. So, you know, it's probably not that realistic that we have dirt roads here, but hey, it solves one problem. Now, there is one other asset that I found that I kind of liked. I believe it's in the park section, and I think it might fit really nicely here. And I'm thinking is if we can get in some pillars here, this might look a bit Stonehenge-like, and you know, it might add to a little bit of the mystique, the mystery surrounding this area. Who knows what purposes these pillars are used for, but oops, don't want to do that. But certainly something that you know, maybe adds a little bit to the allure of this area. So okay, that's great. Another thing I have to do is smooth out some of the land around these vaults. Some of these are just hanging off the cliff, and that doesn't really make sense if they're going to the ground. So we're just going to do a little bit of grading here. Cool, that's just a little bit smoother, which I think looks a lot better. Okay, now we are done with this area, and I'm quite happy with it. It definitely is one of my more strange builds, which I love. And now we're going to focus on this end of the strip. We've got hotels running all the way along. We're going to maintain much of a similar theme, but actually what we're going to do is use one of the most, I think, interesting assets that came with the, I think it was a mid-century modern pack. And this is going to become the cornerstone for a new tourism draw in the area. You know, it's a restaurant. It's, well, let me just show you. Here it is, the Mothership, which is a mid-century / space age inspired restaurant that comes with a variable branding per placement, whatever that means. So I think we can probably fit that in somewhere here. Yes, we can. And I'm not opposed to putting it on the collector. That's fine. This is not going to be a terribly busy road. But what I do want to do is get one more access point between the arterial and the collector. That's a really long span to go from here to over here. So we'll just see if we can create one more little access point. Great, and now we're going to use this as another sort of hub for tourism, but this is going to be the lower end of the strip. The more luxury hotels are over there. This is going to be sort of the seedy part of the Vegas Strip if you've ever been. Let's get that going here. Okay, how'd we do? I think that adds a little character. It may be a little bit cheesy, but hey, that's the mid-century modern theme, I guess. It doesn't look too bad, This is not a bad little place to hang out. It's kind of off the main drag. It's a little bit more space for you to go and walk your dog or go have your morning coffee or something. I like it, and I really love this asset, this Mothership, it's called. Yeah, that makes for a really beautiful restaurant, and it definitely adds a little bit something to the skyline, or at least it will when we flesh this out. Let's actually go ahead and do that now. Let's put in the rest of our hotel zone here, making sure that our districts are properly laid out. And so, of course, we have the entertainment district on the beachfront here, and the hotel district on the back end here. And so I want to just actually, you know what? I think we're not going to extend the hotels any further down this way, so we can actually cut this off. But this one we most certainly will. And in fact, I'm going to expand the road layout and make sure that we are getting as much entertainment value as we can out of this. And so let's extend the road layout, and then we'll get in a little bit more hotel areas. And I'm going to use my little trick with the fences here. I want to make sure that the hotels that are 4 squares deep are zoning on this area. So I'm just going to put a little bit of a fence behind here. And let's extend the boardwalk. That I think makes for a really nice effect all the way along, and so it should continue as far as we can go. And we'll add a few more little parks and beachfront amenities there as well. So you'll see I'm taking advantage of some of these mid-century modern assets, which I think make for a really nice asset to put along the beachfront here. And I think we can squeeze all of them in. I'm just going to have to shift things down a little bit in order to get all of them in, but I think this will make for a really nice low budget area. There we have it. So there's a few more things I do want to do, which is finalize this boardwalk area and get in some detailing. Now, I never used to put any real effort into detailing. I thought it was kind of a waste of time versus just playing the game, but man, this is playing the game. This really makes your cities beautiful and believable, and yes, it takes time, but I'm thinking it's totally worth it, especially when I could speed it up in the editing. So I think it's, just really ties the city together. Look at that coastline. I mean, we're looking at a boardwalk that runs probably several kilometers or several miles, so it's pretty fantastic. I think it's worth doing. And you know what, while we're at this, why not convert this whole strip to an actual park? And yes, we'll go all the way into the port area, and it'll call itself Olive Gardens. That obviously doesn't fit with our Nordic Arctic Circle theme, so if you have a name for this park, please drop it in a comment. Let's see, what do we want to put for policies here? This is not a main park, so I don't think we're going to put really anything here. We're just going to leave it alone. I'm not even sure we're going to add gates. There's no point in actually doing that, I don't believe. Let's see what it's saying about our entertainment value. So 158, that's really low. This park is most likely not going to level up. But I do think that we will give at least a small boost to the land value and to the entertainment value of the land around it. Let's check those land values. So when we started, this was completely gray. There was nothing here. You can see, obviously, the real money is in Hommelvik, with the rich people along this coast up top here. And, there's definitely some growing money on this end of the beach, and we've just built what is definitely the lower budget end of the tourist strip, which is exactly what we're going for, so I think it worked out well. Let's see if we can get in a few more parks here, or plazas. We will destroy the boardwalking process, but I think it's totally worth it in order to give this this budget area a. You know, actually, what we're going to do is put in another one here. Just notice we're kind of destroying the views, so let's give them this these plazas right in front of the hotels, and that way we're not entirely blocking the view, even if it is from the parking lot, which yeah, you can tell this is definitely going to be a little bit of a budget area. Probably the type of place I would have stayed when I was 20, but hey, everyone's got to have a place to stay, right? So let's just fix it this path. Beauty. Yeah, I think we've done something really cool here, which is the budget end of the strip. Okay, so that was the first half of this build. The next half is staring us in the face here, and it's this park, which is called Sunset Park. Again, not a name that's going to stick because we are a Nordic build. Maybe you think Scandinavian, think the Baltics. It's definitely something we want to replace. So if you've got a name that sounds a little bit Norwegian or Finnish or something like that, let's hear it. I'd love to get it in. So we are going to put 3 different entrances to this park. One is going to be here, one's going to be around here, and one will be at this end. And I'm hoping that that will generate a little bit of cross pedestrian traffic through each of these areas. We're going to take advantage of this flat pad as well as this flat pad, and you're going to see quite a lot of lookouts and mountain passes all over this place. Obviously there's some terrain. I'm looking forward to having some fun with this, so I'm gonna jump into a quick time lapse and we'll just get this done. So we've got our tent camping site in here. I think it looks pretty great, and yeah, that would definitely be an attraction. While we're here, why don't we do a little bit of a walking tour and just take advantage of all this tourism potential that we created. I'm not sure if these are going to make money or not, but it seems like to me like it's worth at least giving it a shot. Again, another super simple tour. Who knows, maybe it's a bird watching tour or something like that, but it's definitely not going to make us a ton of money. But hey, worth trying since we have the option to do it. Okay, the next thing I want to do is get in some lookouts, and I love these for that, and it makes a lot of sense to me to get into our terrain, find some of the highest vantage points, and then after that we've got a place to direct our pathways. And so let's come really up close here, and yeah, I think this would be a beautiful view overlooking all the tent camping sites, and we'll stick that right there. Perhaps while we're here we do another one facing this way, you know, maybe an overlook of the city. That would be beautiful. Alright, moving even farther up here, great opportunity for some lookouts. And you know what, actually I think I'm going to do something a little bit special with this one. Given that we are close to the road, I'm going to put in another access point here, and well, I'll just show you. Okay, so in order to do this, and I've tested this a little bit, but not extensively, but I think what we can do is we can get in a small pedestrian road. I'm not going to obviously run a road all the way up here, but I'm thinking we can do something a little bit special, which is put in a pedestrian road. Hopefully this is the one of the thinnest ones we can get. Yeah, sandstone, sure. Yeah, let's go with bluestone for no particular reason. And we'll just get in a little bit of an expanse of pedestrian road here. And I'm actually going to have to make this a little bit wider, unfortunately. Not terribly realistic to be carving into a nature reserve mountain. But we're playing the game here. And on the one side, we're getting our cables, car, and stop. And that way, on the other side, we can put another gate. And that will give us the ability, cannot be placed on this road. Huh. Interesting. Okay, so we might actually have to convert that to just a regular dirt road. But we still should be able to use the pedestrian area teleportation trick. And I'll show you what that looks like. This road here is a bit of a, I guess it could be considered a collector, and so we're going to tie into this road and create a new little access point over here. Just make sure our grades are appropriate, they're not. And you know what, why not use a dirt road for now? I think that would be totally fine. And ideally I kind of want to line this up with the road that I'm about to put in here, but it's not too, it doesn't matter too much exactly how I do it, so we'll get it as best we can in here. Great, so we've been able to connect that directly up, and I guess this is a series of firsts for me. I've got my first helicopter in the last episode and my first cable car in this episode. Obviously we're going to have to get some water and power up here, which we will do. I'm not sure how well used this is going to be, but what I think this will do is allow more tourists to get more quickly into the center of the park and then start taking advantage of some of the assets that I'm going to be placing around the periphery, like fishing wharves and hunting lodges and things like that. And you know, while we're at this, why don't we put in our very final entrance point, and then we'll know exactly where we're aiming for with our pathways. Alright, and the next thing we want to do is get in a few more little destinations, and so we're going to take advantage of just about all the assets in this pack here. Excellent, so here we have a little hunting area. We're keeping these separate from the camping tours for I think obvious reasons. We don't want anyone getting shot accidentally, so we'll keep the hunting on this side of the island, and let's flesh out a bit of a forest here to give them somewhere to actually hunt. Yeah, awesome. Okay, that looks pretty cool. So we've got our pathway network developing. I forgot a little path here, so let's connect that. Alright, I think that's a fairly great path network. Is it a little bit extensive for what we're doing here? But maybe. But you know what? There's a lot of new money coming into this area, to this island, and I think they would do something with it. They would definitely invest some dollars into making this look like and feel like a world-class park. Because hey, there's some natural beauty here. This is a very unusual spot, and I think it would be really good for the local economy. Now, there's one more thing I wanted to do since the first episode we built on this island, and that's put in a little bit of a riding stable. And I think it would make a lot of sense to put that very near to these high-end luxury hotels, and we're going to put it at least close enough to the hotels and to the park that they can actually ride inside the park. So let's just flatten out a little bit of a pad here, or maybe a lot of a pad. Wow, there are a lot of cars on this line, so let's see what's going on here. Anybody actually using this? 6 passengers, so again, oh, we're looking at helicopters. That's odd. Where's my cable cars? Oh, okay, I guess I can tell me. Anyways, tell me 0 passengers served last week, so I'm not surprised. I don't know, is there a way to turn down these things? I don't think I can. I wonder, can I actually create a line? Let's see. No, I can't. So I'm not sure why it's defaulting to lines overview is the helicopters. Doesn't make a lot of sense to me. I don't seem to have one for cable cars. So I guess we're just gonna leave it alone because we can't adjust. Now we do need to get water and power up here, so look, water, we're just going to do a straight shot up the mountain. And as far as power goes, what we can do is we can put a few little campsites all along the pathway up the hill. Power just like that. Alright, did we miss anything? Are there any towers that aren't connected to a road? Are there any fishing piers that aren't connected to a road, or rather a pathway? I think we're okay. I think we've got number 1 gatehouse here, which is fine. We've got the second one with the cable car stop here. Again, not many people using it, but hey, it's a game. We're having fun with it. And then we've got our 3rd over here. And I probably like this area the best. This is really a place I'd want to go camping. So feels like it's definitely a place that people will go to. You know what? Let's of course rename this. So if you have a name for this, please let me know. We're burning money here, but we have plenty of entertainment. We just need the visitors. And so what we're going to do is we're going to advertise. We're going to make it a main park. What is celebrate? This is the fireworks? I don't think so. Night tours, yes, up to 30% more visitors at nighttime. And of course, this is the specific to nature reserve policy, which is recycle garbage. It costs us money, but it will do something good for the environment. So let's do it. All right, we have only had 10 visitors, but it hasn't been running very long. We're gonna let this go, and I think we've done something wonderful. We've got our budget tourism area over here, and we've got our beautiful new nature reserve. What else do we want to do? Right, now I forgot that this cable car stop at the top here is going to be screaming for garbage pickup. And there is a way to get around this, and that involves putting in a pedestrian service point. And so if we go into our pedestrian areas, not the plazas, this one, and we put in the smallest service point, and it can be really anywhere connected to a road. So let's just put it in here, and then we've got to draw our pedestrian area, and we've got to cover that cable car stop, while at the same time making sure we're not getting our main gate in the middle. Oops, I broke it. Let's try it again. Now, in theory, the it should be inside the pedestrian area, and that should pick up the garbage. I'm not sure I've got both of them, but we're gonna do our best. We're gonna see how it functions, and if it doesn't work, hey, it doesn't work. We'll just rebuild it. But I think it's looking pretty good. One thing I want to do is put a fence all around this area, and so let's do that. Cool. I like it. So what this fence is going to do is serve two purposes. It's going to get rid of the zoning on that side of the road, so we don't accidentally build any houses or commercial inside the park. And it's going to just look cool. I mean, it definitely delineates the park from the rest of the build, and I think it looks pretty special. So I'm going to count that as a win. Okay, next thing I want to do, we are screaming a little bit for residential demand. We know that given that we're putting all these hotels in here, we're hurting for a little bit of residential demand, residential housing rather, and so we're going to put some in along this arterial here. Makes sense, I think, to put some high density next to the road and maybe some lower density in the back. And we're going to pause, take out this, and I'm just checking the power. It's all connected. We don't need that line anymore, so we're just going to leave it as is. Just checking on my commercial zones. We're the goods rather. We're at 42% full, which is great. It means that we're importing goods faster than these commercial zones are selling them. And they are complaining, but they're complaining about not enough customers, which certainly because we're putting in a lot more residential, that's going to be fixed of its own accord. So we're going to leave that alone. Let's put a final road in through here, and we'll see if we can zone in just a little bit more residential. Alright, one more thing I want to do is, this is a commercial tourist area, so we want to get in some taxis. This place definitely needs some taxis, and so we're going to get in a depot over here. I'm going to hope that it's going to be enough capacity to deal with all that we need. I think each one of these, 25 taxis, so that should be plenty. Now, where would we want some taxi stands? Definitely in front of all the major transportation destinations. So let's see if we can get one in here somewhere, which is our train station. I'm going to take out this tree, this fence, and probably this building as well, just in order to get one as close as I can to the train station. And unfortunately, we'll wipe out some zoning there, and I'm okay with that. That I can live with. And then, of course, the next place we want to put a taxi stand is right outside the harbor. And I'm hoping I can sneak one in somewhere logical, like say along the boardwalk here. Alright, and that actually looks like a seamless walkway here. We've got our taxi in. How many is it? It's 5 that can be in a queue, but most of them are driving around. So hopefully that adds a little bit of tourism income to our budget. I'm just noticing this prime real estate over here. We're going to sneak one little other park in here and some more residential. And I just want to check the noise and make sure we're not too close. Yeah, I think maybe this corner might be a bit of a problem, but hopefully not. We are very close to the port and to the industry, so we don't want to go any further that way than this. But I think that should be fine. How are trees? I didn't miss any spots, I hope. No, looking good. Alright, feeling pretty good about the build so far, and I think we're just approaching the end here. I want to check to make sure we have all of our fire services, because we will be moving on from this island in order to return back downtown soon. And I want to check, so this end of the island is definitely hurting for fire coverage, so we're going to throw in a smaller firehouse, one of these utilitarian versions. And let's check our police while we're at it. And it's not terrible, but I'm seeing we've only got these 2 little police stations here, so we we will add some coverage on this end just to raise some land values. Great, we've got our park maintenance, we've got our road maintenance, we've got our bus depots. So how's our recycling holding up? We've only got less than half the trucks in use. We do have more than half the garbage reserves stored, so we're gonna have to keep an eye on that. Basically same, this is a little less, but same trucks. We'll keep an eye on that. What else? One thing I do want to do, since it's been a while and we've added a lot of zoning, we're going to want to check on our bus routes, and while we're at it, our trains, so let's see how our buses are doing. 161 and 176. I think these are some of our most successful bus lines. And one thing I did want to do, if you look at this, it's not quite covering the new area we've built, so we're going to want to extend that out a little bit. And at this stage, you know, we're traveling so far, I think we're going to want to break this into 2 lines. Yeah, that's what we're going to do. So we're going to put in a new line. Okay, we've got our new line in, which means we can tweak that a little bit, and then we can reduce the size of our original one. And I'm gonna turn this off so I can't see it, and that will let me reduce the capacity on this line, reduce the lines or the stops over here. Okay, now we have 2 circulating lines for the east and the west ends of town, and I'm curious to see how this is going to perform. I think one's going to be a lot busier than the other, given that the cruise ship terminals on this side, that's going to be a lot more passengers, I believe. We'll see. However, we'll test it. So I'm running this at max speed, and hopefully that will let us see what is actually happening with these buses. Oh, before I do anything else, I had better change those buses over to biofuel, because all we have here is the biofuel depot, and otherwise those buses are currently en route from way across the map. So let's switch these over to biofuel. It's going to take some time to figure out how effective those are, so I'm just going to leave it for a little bit. And there's just one last thing that I want to do, and let's take a look at the traffic. Okay, so we definitely have some issues around our port. That's to be expected in this game. Aside from putting in a second port or even like a rail cargo station, there's not much I can do. This road's heavy, but it's a 6 lane, so we're not going to worry about it. I am concerned a little bit about this road. I'm not sure why there's so much traffic coming down here. I'm not sure why they're all using 1 lane. That is an oddity of the game. I would have liked that this was also a straightaway road rather than turning here. That doesn't really make a whole lot of sense to me. Anyway, it is what it is. You know, it's not breaking the game. It's still flowing. It's fine in the rest of town. It's a little heavy downtown here, but I do want to maintain these small 1 lane each direction roads with the boulevard, because it's a quaint little town, right? Or it's supposed to be. Obviously now it's surrounded by massive towers and a lot going on here, but I think it's got a nice mix of character. You know, we've got some abandoned buildings here, but I think that's probably due to not enough customers. That problem should be solved now that we have more housing in here. And you know what? Our demand's back up, so let's see where we can throw in a little bit more housing. But actually, what I was getting off track here doing is reducing some of the capacity on these roads. This is solid, so we'll leave that. But you know, down this end of town, I'm just not convinced that we need a 4 lane, or rather a 6 lane. And so we're going to actually give them some trees. I can get out of the traffic view here, and we're going to reduce the capacity of these roads. We do not need 6 lanes. It's not that busy. So checking our traffic again. I think I might leave this segment. It could get busier as time goes, so we'll leave that there. Let's see on this side how we're doing. Yeah, we're actually quite clear all the way up to the industrial area. So we're gonna, again, downgrade these roads from 6 to 4 lanes, at least up to here, up to this junction, because this is a busy junction. And let's give them some nice trees. What do we got for the residents of Hommelvik? Let's see. That's, I think, a little bit much. Let's try something a little bit less intense. Not bad, not bad. What else do we have? What about some pines? How do we like our pines here? They're really extremely tall. Maybe we have a more subdued option. Oh, that's quite cool. That's quite cool. I think that looks great. We're gonna run it all along. Yeah, that's really cool. It would be a noise buffer as well in real life, and I like that. And here we go back to the arterial type road. Good. I like it. Wonderful. We do still have some customer issues here. Not enough customers, but well, let's see. Where can we put in some higher density residential? I don't want to get anything too close to this industrial zone, so I think we'll kind of leave it here. Toward this end, nothing really. Don't want to zone this. Don't know what to do with a piece of land like that. So we're gonna leave that. Any blank spaces? What's happening here? Nothing terribly exciting. Nothing I can do really about that. I don't want to get anything too close to noise generating assets. This here, okay, I see something we can do. Let's see let's check the noise on this. Perfectly fine for residential. So we'll sneak some residential in there. And in fact, you know what? We've got more residential than commercial demand. I want to balance this island out, so what we will do is we will de-zone all of this. I'm going to hope that our schools are keeping up, and we'll check our elementary. Totally fine, although I'm not sure it's really providing coverage to other areas. And yeah, I don't know, as people move in, I suppose we might have a shortage of residentials, or rather school services, so we'll have to keep an eye on that. High school, I think it's fine. I'm guessing this is probably not full. Yeah, it's approaching capacity, but it's not quite there yet. Okay, we've done, I think, most of what I think we wanted to do. We're going to take one quick look at this bus line and see if it's given us any, if it's up to speed, if it's running and we know that it's actually working or not. We're looking for stops that are totally overwhelmed. Okay, here's one. What is that? This is what is this? Oh, this is the downtown historic Hommelvik, so we're going to need to do something about that. We have a shortage, or we have rather 200 people waiting here. Now, the buses behind, they are almost all empty. So I'm thinking it's probably fine, but just to be on the safe side, what are we looking at? We're looking at an additional 7 buses. I don't want to go that crazy, so we'll go up to 13. We'll come back and check on that, and we'll look at the other direction. So this was B, I believe. We'll look at A, and wow, we have even more backups on this side, and these guys are at the main bus station. So we'll go up to 13 as well here. I did not expect that. I did not expect for this line to be more popular. I wonder if the reason for this might be that so many people are moving into the new residences down the street, and we're still having a little bit of an issue with abandonment, but not worried about it. We do have a lot of commercial tourism buildings here. Let's go back to our original bus line, which we completely revamped, and that was the Hommelvik line. Backups here, oh do we ever. Yes, we're definitely suffering from a lot of people coming in from the cruise lines, and so we have 2 stops that are just really overwhelmed, and so we're gonna need a lot more buses. And I wonder if in a future episode, if we still continue to face this kind of crush for the buses, you know what, I think I'm I'm tempted to go ahead and throw bigger buses here, but that would mean I need to build another bus depot, which totally can do. But I'm not gonna mess with it now. Let's just throw some more buses at this. Okay, how do we do? We've got a new, low budget, kind of cheap motel area for a certain type of clientele. And you know what? It looks quite beautiful. I really do like these assets. These are, believable. I like it. It feels like a real place. We've got a new restaurant here with the accompanying plazas around it. And I think we've done a good job of taking advantage of this kind of awkward little space here. I just kind of love this asset. It does look like a space age museum of some kind. And hey, this might be the perfect place for, maybe this is owned by the vineyards where they're selling their wine. This is sort of their flagship place to just shove tourists into and buy their wine. Who knows? And then we did some double duty. This has been a long episode for sure, I admit. But I think it turned out great in that we've got our hunting cabins, we've got our trails, we've got a little bit of the vortex there, but I won't say anything you don't. And we've got our camping area. And all in all, I think it really turned out. I'm loving this. I'm loving the fact that we've got our first cable car going up the mountain here. I love the way this turned out. I have so much fun building these areas, these little communities, and putting them together. And I don't know if we did maybe 5 episodes on this island. This is it for Hommelvik, the island of Hommelvik. We are moving now to downtown in the next episode. I've got some big plans for this. I've learned a lot about the game, and I want to apply some of what I've learned. Thanks for watching. I really appreciate it. I would be doing this anyway. It's nice to have all of you out there watching. There's not a whole lot of us right now that are subscribed, but I appreciate those of you who have. And I'd love to hear from you. If you want to leave me some comments, if you want to just leave me a thumbs up or something, that's appreciated. And if you could throw me a like, that'd be great, so that more people see my video. And subscribe so that you know when I've got new videos coming out. I'm trying to produce as many as I can. Life is busy, but more videos are coming. So thanks again for watching, and have a great day.